Hi, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Cookie Secrets, Dark at Night. So get yourself a little blanket, cuddle up near the fan, and just relax. And I'm going to tell you a little secret of mine. Well, I told you guys a story about my UFO experience. Now I'm going to tell you about a time that I almost lost my life. Okay, so I was younger, probably about maybe 15 or 16, and I was staying in Oakland, California, and I was hanging out in Sabrani Park. Back then, it was rough, very rough around the edges. I'm talking about like really, really rough. People were getting killed left and right. But anyway, so me and my friend, we were hanging out in Sabrani Park. We were cool with everybody, and having a good time watching them play basketball, listening to the cars that go boom. Because back in the days, we were into guys with cars that went boom and going to sideshows and guys that had gold around their neck and all that materialistic stuff that don't really matter. And guys that had pagers. Back then, pagers were the bomb. Everybody wanted a pager back then. Um, and low riders and thugs and all that. But that's when you're younger. But when you grow up and you start thinking, you're like, you know what? None of that stuff really matters because when we leave this world, honey, we are not taking none of it with us. Okay, so anyways, let me get back to my story. So anyways, there's this one guy I was talking to, and uh well, I think, yeah, I was 16 because I lost my virginity when I was 16, and we were in the park, and we got our groove on in the park, the playground at night in the dark, and we start getting cool with each other and stuff. And we walked back. Well, we were riding in the car, and he told me, he said, "Stay out here, I'll be right back." So I'm in the car, sitting out there. 10 minutes went by, 30 minutes went by, an hour went by. So I got out the car and I went and knocked on the door. And the mom and the dad said, "Come on in, honey. You can come in here and have a seat and everything." And so I'm looking around, I guess I was bold back then. To be honest with you, a white girl being raised around black folks, being in the neighborhood that was rough around the edges. White people weren't allowed in certain areas, especially Sabrina Park. That was like, whew, it was real rough. So one day, he gave me some of his ex-girlfriend's clothes. And, well, let me go back to that time. I'm jumping around here. So I was sitting in the living room just looking crazy, and I guess homeboy was asleep. He was knocked out. He just left me out in the car. I was by myself out there, and his mom and dad asked me if I wanted something to eat, and they fixed me something to eat and stuff, and we were all watching some TV. And then next thing you know, he said, "I'll be right back. I got to go do something." And he said, "Oh, hey," like that, like I wasn't even there. And so anyways, I stayed at his house one day. Then it became another day. And then he brought me some of his ex-girlfriend's clothes. Like back then, Troop, boy, Troop was, everybody wore Troop. They wore Adidas, they wore Troop. Hold on real quick. Okay, and everybody wore like 505 jeans. They had different colored jeans, like blue, green, gray, black. And then we wore our little lace socks and our little them little different colored tennis shoes. They didn't have no name to it, but they're like them little Chinese shoes. Yeah, that's the kind of style we had back then. And we wore our little ponytails and gelled it down to the side and did our little baby hairs and stuff. It's coming back now though. I notice I see a lot of people with little baby hairs on the side. Okay, so let me get back to it. So then it gets kind of crazy. So after he gives me his ex-girlfriend's clothes, he said, "You think you all that, huh?" I said, I'm not thinking I'm all that. I'm just young, 16, just I wasn't thinking like that. And then he took me back to his mom and dad's house, and I was sitting there talking. His brother was there a lot, so me and him would conversate a lot, and we'll sit in the room and just talk and watch TV. And one day he seen his brother trying to kiss me, and I was pushing his brother off because his brother tried to kiss me. And then he got mad. He said, I got you, you white bitch, I got you." And I wasn't doing nothing wrong. I'm just there. He was flirting with me. He was trying to kiss on me. And next thing you know, he told his parents overheard him talking about he was going to kill me. And so his parents, I overheard them talking about how they were going to hide me and get me out of the house safe. So I didn't know what to think. I was 16. Nothing didn't phase me. There was so much stuff going on in my life back then. This is just one of the stories. I got plenty to tell. Plenty. Because I know one thing. I sure had an angel watching over me all this long time. So his parents thought of a scheme to sneak me out of Sobrani Park. Because the way Sobrani Park is, there's one way in and one way out. It's like a big old circle. When you go in, it's a big old circle. There's like a basketball court. There's the projects on the side, on the right side. Then they got the road that goes all the way through, kind of like a circle, and it comes back out. So if you go in, you got to come out that same area. It's not like, a gated community. It's not like that. It's weird how it is, but it has its own little section. Like back then, Oakland was like, they had 77, they had 69ville, they had Sobrani Park, they had Acorns, those are all the different little projects and stuff. Anyway, so they had decided they were going to try to get me out the house. They wanted to make sure that he wasn't there. And so they told me that it was a station wagon they had. So they told me to get all the way down on the floor, and they started putting blankets and stuff like that over me. And they were riding out, and I remember peeping out through the covers and seeing him and a whole bunch of dudes looking at his mom and daddy car. So they hurried up and they zoomed out of that area, and they got out of Sobrani Park. And so once they got out of Sobrani Park, they took me to their aunt's house. And we were watching Star Search. That's what it was called. I was trying to think of that show the other day. It's kind of like a talent show, because you know how they have like Apollo, they had Soul Train and stuff like that. Anyway, so they got me to the auntie house. Everybody's watching Star Search, and I said I was gonna go outside for a minute. How about I got out that door? I walked, and I walked, and I walked, and I walked, and I got up out of there, and I ain't never went back to Sobrani Park ever since. That's just one of my little stories that I was just gonna tell. I have plenty. Where that one came from, this is all true. Nothing fake, nothing phony, nothing baloney. But I know it was a quick story tonight, but I will have a longer one. And tune in tomorrow night. I'm going to have another one. These are a lot of my secrets. Keep a secret. You keep a secret. We all keep a secret. But you know what? To be honest with you, who cares? Y'all have a good night. And thank you for joining me. Peace.